Hi, I am Mona, and in this video we will learn more about the ApneBoot device. ApneBoot is a neonatal apnea resolution system. It uses pulse oximetry to continuously monitor the heart rate and oxygen saturation of a newborn. When these two parameters fall below a predefined cutoff, indicative of apnea, the ApneBoot provides a vibratory stimulus to the foot with a special foot probe to help babies restart breathing. Now let's learn more about the ApneBoot device. In the product package, you will receive 5 items: the operation manual, the main unit, the power cord, the pulse oximeter probe, and the foot stimulation probe. On the rear side of the device, this is the power plug connector, the AC switch, and a sticker which contains the unique product code. Please reference this code for any customer support. On the front side of the device, this is the device on-off switch, the display screen, and a series of 4 LEDs. The first LED turns on if the device is running on AC power supply. This LED in the center turns on when the device alarms and stimulates. The next LED turns on when the device is operating with low battery, indicating to recharge. And the next LED in the corner turns on when the alarm is snoozed by pressing the adjacent alarm button. Then there are these 5 buttons used to customize the settings of the device as needed. The topmost button is to snooze the alarm. The arrow and set buttons are to customize the device settings. And the history button is to display the number of bradycardia and desaturation events in the past 12 hours. The slider switch is to turn the stimulation feature on or off as needed. The device uses 2 probes. First, the pulse oximeter probe, which gets plugged in this connector. Second is the foot stimulation probe, which gets connected in the adjacent connector. To use the device, connect the power cord and turn the AC switch on. Then plug the pulse oximeter probe into the connector. Make sure to firmly push it in. Next, connect the foot stimulation probe into its connector. Make sure you match this notch on the probe to the slot here. You will hear a click sound indicating the probe is connected correctly. Press the power button on to turn the device on. A setup screen will appear. The alarm will turn on, all LEDs will blink, and the foot probe will stimulate once as part of the device startup sequence. Next, place the pulse oximeter probe on the foot or other peripheral site suitable for measuring the oxygen saturation and pulse rate. Now connect the foot probe by placing the toe pointing towards the wire and not the other way around. Wrap the shortest strap like this and plug it in the rectangular notch. Then wrap the longer strap around the ankle and plug it in the round notch. Make sure it is not too tight or too loose. Once connected to the baby, wait for a few minutes for the device to stabilize and start measuring stable values. The screen will display the measured values of SpO2 and pulse rate in these big size letters and the cutoff values in the adjacent smaller size letters. On the top corner of the screen, it displays the stimulation intensity. It also shows the perfusion index, the device messages, or apnea duration in the event of an apnea. When the measured values go below the set cutoff values, it identifies as an apnea and gives a vibratory stimulus to the foot sole like this. It also displays the apnea duration on the screen. However, the cutoff values can be customized using the settings function. ApneBoot device has a default apnea setting called the preset mode. When you receive the device, the preset mode is set by default. This mode has following settings. The device will stimulate and alarm if any of the 3 conditions become true. 1. The SpO2 is less than 85% and pulse rate is less than 100 bpm for 5 seconds. Or the SpO2 is less than 75% for 5 seconds. or the pulse rate is less than 90 bpm for 5 seconds. These settings can also be changed as desired. You can customize at what SpO2 and pulse rate cutoffs will the device stimulate an alarm. To do so, press the Set button. Change the preset mode to Off by pressing the Set button again. Then select SpO2 and set the numeric value using the arrow up and down buttons. Repeat the same to set pulse rate. Next, you can also set the relationship between the SpO2 and pulse rate as AND or condition. You can set the duration for which the device will wait to stimulate an alarm. It ranges from 5, 10, 15, and 20 seconds. Press Exit to save the settings. Please note that the ApneBoot stimulates an alarm simultaneously whenever the set cutoffs are met. So set them at reasonable values to avoid overstimulation. You can also change the stimulation intensity of the vibratory stimulus as low, medium, or high. To do so, press the Set button, press the Set Intensity button, then select high, medium, or low intensity using the arrow up and down buttons. Press Exit to save the settings. You can also customize the alarm volume as needed to high or low. To do so, press the Set button, select Set Volume, then select high or low intensity using the arrow up and down buttons. Press Exit to save the settings. You can also use the ApneBoot without the stimulation feature. To do so, turn the slider button to off position. This will make the device function only as a standard pulse oximeter. The device also keeps a track of the number of bradycardia and desaturation events in the last 12 hours. To check the history, press the History button. It will show the duration of history, the number of events, and when the last event occurred. Please note that the history will get reset if the device is turned off. It is important to regularly clean the device. Use a cotton swab with 70% isopropyl alcohol to wipe the pulse oximeter and foot probe before placing on a baby. Here are some of the troubleshooting steps you can try in case the device stops working as intended. If the AC power switch does not glow red when connected to AC supply, it's possible that the fuse is blown. So please check the fuse and replace with the extra fuse provided. To do so, switch off the AC power switch and the power button. Disconnect the power cord from the device. Pull the fuse holder with the help of a screwdriver as shown. Remove the blown fuse and replace the fuse with the extra fuse provided. If the pulse oximeter probe is connected to the device and it still displays probe not connected, check if the probe's red LED is glowing or not, and check whether it is connected firmly to the main unit. If the issue persists, contact the Bempu customer care to replace the probe. If the device displays probe off patient for long duration or the readings look inaccurate, check if any bright ambient light is falling on the pulse oximeter probe, whether the probe is placed snugly on the baby, not too tight or too loose, and check if the site is well perfused and reposition the probe to another site if needed. If the issue persists, please contact the Bempu customer care. Please note that the ApneBoot stimulates and alarms simultaneously whenever the set cutoffs are met. So set them at reasonable values to avoid overstimulation of the baby. Thank you for watching this video.